Hi, I'm Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. This is a update on the tropics for Wednesday, June 29th. This is for the Fleet Response Working Group, the All Hazards Consortium, and we are in phase 0 of the tropical season. We do have some interesting things going on in the tropics that I'll update you about here in just a moment. But again, we're in the planning and monitoring phase because we don't have an active system designated by the National Hurricane Center as threatening the United States. We do have one close to Texas, but it is not developing as of yet. It's just an area to watch. But let me show you on this wide view. This is the GOES high-resolution GOES East satellite. You can see the Terminator line. That's the sunrise line moving across the world this morning. And you can see that little spin over northern South America. That is potential tropical cyclone number 2. We can get a little bit closer here and show you what it looks like. It is moving rather quickly towards the west. It's going to maintain that path, and the forecast is for it to become Hurricane Bonnie, but also to remain well south of the U.S. Looks like it's going to be a big rainstorm for Central America, and it could cause life-threatening rain and floods down in that area. We'll certainly be monitoring it as well. Now, we are at phase 0, as I mentioned before. This is from the All Hazards Consortium playbook. They go through this playbook and refine it, having exercises. There's one coming up on July 22nd as well. Phase 0 is monitoring planning when the storm is from 4 to 7 days out from impacting the United States, and that's the phase that we're in. I connected with Jim Williams from Louisiana earlier today, and this is what Jim had to say about his preparation activities and what they're doing in this phase 0. What kind of things are you doing in this phase 0?
So we're, we don't wish any bad luck on anybody, but that thing that popped up in the northern Gulf of Mexico that has kind of slid to the west, and Louisiana does not appear to be in the cone of uncertainty there. Wishing the best to our brothers and sisters in Texas. For the two that are out in the Caribbean, we're keeping an eye on those. I think it's potential potential tropical cyclone 2. The one that's right on the northern edge of South America. We're not too concerned about that one because it looks like the steering currents are going to take it out into Central America and then potentially out into the Pacific Basin. The one that's behind that, though, that has a little cause for concern. And so, again, like we were talking about when we visited the other day, we're just kind of making sure that people are aware of what's going on out there. And I'm really glad that we got a chance to do this thing again, because the other thing that I wanted to talk about that we didn't mention last time was, as these things have looked like they've started to line up, if people haven't started reviewing their hurricane kits, now is the perfect time to do it. Now, this second one that's out there, it looks like the steering currents may take it back out, near Florida, then into the Atlantic and do its thing out there, making fish angry. And if that's the worst thing it does, then I hope that's the case. But now is really the time to make sure that you have reviewed your plan. Through Louisiana, we get a gameplan.org. If you're unfamiliar with or new to the Gulf Coast, that's a great resource to be able to help you get ready for hurricane season and go through your checklist. Make sure you got your batteries, your water, your medicines are topped off as best you can within the regulations of the prescriptions and things like that. But make sure that you're checking your hurricane kit now, because as that one in the northern Gulf showed, within 24 to 36 hours, you can go from nothing to significant weather events nowadays. So that's what we're doing right now in Louisiana.
Well, that sounds good, Jim. And I was wondering if you could describe any coordination activities. Are they taking place at all, or is it just way too early between states at this point?
Yeah, so right now, this is just the time that we're we're bothering a bunch of electrons, making sure we're sending emails out to make sure that, like I said the last time, that nobody's changed positions that we're not aware of. And then but at the state level, there has not been any calls for any operational coordination meetings yet. It would be a little bit, they would have to get probably a little bit past the Windward Islands, and start kind of that cone of uncertainty looking like it's going to be in the Gulf of Mexico, before before those coordination calls would start happening. And that you can see, that's still a long ways out. So that's in that, 5 to 7 day period before we start even doing some of those coordination calls. So we're just kind of keeping an eye on there and hoping for the best right now.
That was Jim Williams from the state of Louisiana. We'll be bringing you more private sector liaisons around the country, particularly in the coastal environments, for when tropical systems do threaten. It's important to communicate the collaboration activities that are going on between those states and just how closely states work together to make sure that goods and services can move between those states. Now, I want to bring you an update on what Jim mentioned also earlier. That is the tropical system that is looking a little bit more likely to form. It has a 40% chance, 40% likelihood of becoming a tropical system by the time it makes landfall along the Texas coast. The good thing about this, and you can see that here in the circled area, the orange, this is the graphical outlook from the National Hurricane Center that GeoCollaborate brings in real time. It looks like it's not going to have a whole lot of time to develop. There are already moderate to heavy rain showers moving onto the coastline. But what I also have displayed here is the drought index. Texas, the state of Texas in central and southern part, and also up towards the northern part and the northwestern part, under serious drought, in some cases extreme drought conditions around San Antonio, Austin, Texas. So some of this moisture is going to be very, very welcome. It doesn't look like it's going to have a chance to develop into a hurricane, but Hurricane Hunter aircraft are scheduled to investigate this system this afternoon. So we'll certainly keep watching this area as it develops and gets closer to the Texas coastline. Now, further to the east and southeast, approaching the Windward Islands here, this is another tropical area of interest. This is a potential area of development, 20 to 30% chance of development over the next 5 days. We'll be watching this one as well. And then, of course, this is potential tropical cyclone number 2, forecast to become Tropical Storm Bonnie and continue across Central America and then emerge in the Pacific Ocean as a tropical storm. So interesting little fact is if it does cross over into the Pacific and becomes a tropical storm, it will get a different name. It doesn't maintain the name in the Atlantic Basin. So we'll be keeping you updated on the tropics. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. This has been an All Hazards Consortium Sensitive Information Sharing Environment Update, and we'll keep you posted. See you in the next day or two.